Hello friends, welcome back to the today's lecture. In today's lecture, we learn about the resultant of non-concurrent force system. In the previous lectures, we have seen the different type of force systems, as well as we have determined the resultant of concurrent type of force system. Now in today's lecture, we are going to determine the resultant force of non-concurrent force system. So here this is the course content. Now resultant of non-concurrent force system. As we have seen, to determine the resultant of a force system, there are total 4 methods, that is triangle law, parallelogram law, polygon law, and resolution and composition. That out of these, triangle law and parallelogram law, these two methods are used when there is a two force systems. Now resolution and composition, this is a method of determination of resultant for n number of forces in a system, and polygon law is the method to determine the resultant graphically. Now to determine the resultant of non-concurrent type of force system, again we are seeing non-concurrent means the system of forces in which the number of forces are not intersecting at a single point. So in case of non-concurrent type of force system, to determine the resultant force, here few more terms are get introduced. So let's see what are those. So the first term is nothing but the moment. Now what is moment? Moment is the turning effect produced by a force. Movement of a force about any point is the product of magnitude of that force and perpendicular distance about that point. Now to understand the concept of movement, let's see some practical examples. For example, if you see this is a tree and this is a branch of tree. Now if a force is applied at this free end of this branch of tree, then actually the effect of this force is get produced at this connecting point, and this effect produced at this connecting point would be considered in terms of a moment. Similarly, if you see an example of opening and closing of the door. Now if we want to open the door or if you want to shut the door, we are applying a force at this point free end, and due to application of this force at this free end, actually the effect will be produced at this connecting point, which is nothing but a moment. So movement is nothing but it is a turning effect produced, and this movement at any point is equals to product of magnitude of force and perpendicular distance about that point. So again, if we see this is a wheel, at the along the circumference of this wheel there are few screws. Now if I want to open these screws by means of this, then in that case, if I want to open this screw, I am applying a force at this point or the another point of this screw. So here this is the force F, which causes the turning effect at this screw, and it will be get tighten or loosen, and the movement produced at this screw is equal to the force F multiplied by the perpendicular distance, the distance between the application of force to the point at which movement occurs. Now this distance, this is very important. Here whenever we are determining the movement, we have to consider the distance a perpendicular distance, perpendicular to the force. For example, now if you see this again, here at this free end of this branch of tree, a vertical force is applied. So movement is equals to this vertical force multiplied by the perpendicular distance, this horizontal distance between this contact point or connecting point to the force. Similarly over here, the application of force is at this point, so force multiplied by this perpendicular distance. So whenever we are considering the distance, that distance should be perpendicular to the force. If my force is vertical, the perpendicular distance is horizontal. If my force is horizontal, perpendicular distance is vertical. So moment at any point is equals to force into that perpendicular distance. The unit of moment is Newton meter or kilonewton meter, and the sign conventions of the unit are considered in terms of clockwise or anti-clockwise. So if it causing clockwise movement, it is positive. If it is causing the anti-clockwise movement, it is considered as a negative. Now the second term is nothing but the couple. We have already seen in our previous video the parallel force system. In parallel force system, again we came across through parallel and like parallel forces and unlike parallel forces. So out of that, when two unlike parallel forces having the same magnitude, that can forms a couple. You can see here a figure. This is a horizontal beam. At both the ends of these beams, force P is applied, and both the forces are parallel forces, but unlike. One of the force is going in the upward direction and then another force is going in the downward direction. So this is a unlike parallel force system. Now if you see, the magnitude of both the forces is same. So whenever two unlike forces having the same magnitude is applied, then in that case it forms a couple moment, which is shown over here. That is, this P will goes like this and this P will goes causing the movement like this. So here this will produce a clockwise movement called as an couple, and the moment is equals to this force P multiplied by the perpendicular distance between the two forces, that is T. Now in case of couple, there is some important points, that is resultant of the couple is always 0, as this force is going upward, positive P, and this force is going downward, negative P. So P minus P, resultant force is always 0. Similarly, moment of couple is the product of magnitude of one force and the lever arm. As both the forces, unlike parallel forces, are of same magnitude, so magnitude of the force multiplied by the distance between these two forces, that is nothing but lever arm, that will produce the movement of the couple. Now Varignon's theorem. Varignon's theorem says that the moment of resultant of a force system about any point is equal to the algebraic sum of moment of all the forces about the same point. Now to understand this, again let's see one more time. The moment of resultant of a force system, it means that a resultant of a force system causing a movement about any point, that is R is a resultant multiplied by the perpendicular distance about any point. So R into X, the moment caused by the resultant, is equal to the algebraic sum of moment, algebraic summation of moment of all the forces about the same point. It means R into X is equals to summation of M. So X is equals to summation of M divided by R, where X is the perpendicular distance of the resultant R about the point where the moment is considered. To understand it more clearly, let's consider, suppose this is a beam gets subjected to the forces. Suppose here one force is there applied, then here one force is applied, here one force is applied. So, and consider that the resultant is passing through this this will be the resultant force. So let's consider this as point A. Now if I am considering, and this force, let's say as a, this is A, then this as force P1, then this as force P2, next this as force P3, this is the resultant force R. Then if I am taking the moment, the Varignon's theorem says that if I am taking the moment about point A, the resultant of this force system means R that is this R multiplied by the perpendicular distance from the point A. So let's consider this horizontal distance as a x. So R multiplied by x is equal to summation of moment produced by the forces in a system. It means that P1 multiplied by the distance x1, then P2 multiplied by the distance x2, then P3 multiplied by the distance x3. So algebraic summation of all these three, P1 x1 plus P2 x2 plus P3 x3 is equal to the R multiplied by x, and all the moment of all the forces is considered about point A, which is called as an Varignon's theorem. That is, resultant of a force system about any point is equal to the algebraic sum of moment of all forces about the same point. So now, based on this Varignon's theorem, let's solve some problems to determine the resultant as well as to determine the moment produced at different points. So this is problem number 1. Let's see. The statement of the problem is determine the moment of force about a point B as shown in figure. So here you can see a L-shaped beam is given. This is the end A, this is the end B. Now at the end A, inclined force of 800 is applied at an angle of 60 degree. The vertical height is given 160 mm and the horizontal is given 200 mm. And we have to determine the moment of this force. When we are applying the force of 800 Newton at point A, we have to find out how much will be the moment developed at point B. So to find out this, we know that moment is equals to the product of force into perpendicular distance. So as this is an inclined force, so we are resolving this force into orthogonal components, that is along x and the component along y. So the horizontal component is 800 cos of 60 degree, the angle made with x axis, and therefore the vertical component is 800 sine of 60. So the moment about point B is equals to 800 cos 60, the force multiplied by the perpendicular distance. Now this 800 cos 60 and sin 60 actually these are applied at point A. So from A to B, as the force is horizontal force, 800 cos 60 multiplied by, so as force is horizontal, distance is vertical, that is 0.16, and the nature of movement is, it is going like this. The arrow of 800 cos 60 is towards the right, so from towards the right it is towards point B, it is going in the clockwise direction, so movement is positive. then 800 sine 60, which is applied at point A. As the force is vertical, so perpendicular distance is horizontal, so 800 sine 60 into point 2. And the nature of movement, again it is going in the clockwise direction, that is positive. So solving this, finally we get answer as a 202.56 Newton meter, a clockwise movement. So because of the force of 800 Newton, a clockwise movement of 202.56 Newton meter is developed at point B. Now let's see one more problem. Determine the moment of force about point A and B as shown in figure. So here one beam is shown at the end. Here reaction is, a vertical force is Ra, here the vertical force is Rb, and the remaining three forces are given: 10 Newton in downward direction, 20 Newton in downward direction, 30 Newton in downward direction, and 25 Newton in upward direction. Similarly, the distances of these forces with respect to either from point A or from point B are provided in the figure, and we have to determine the moment of force about point A and B. So let's consider the moment about point A is equals to, so 25 kilonewton, the vertical force, so the perpendicular distance is equals to the total length A to B is 1 plus 1.5 plus 2 plus 1, that is 2 plus 1 3 4, and here 5.5, and here 25 Newton, this distance is 3.5, so the remaining distance here is equals to 2 meter. So 25 into perpendicular distance 2, and the nature of movement, it is going in the upward, so towards point A it is moving in the anti-clockwise direction, that is minus. Then next force is 10, perpendicular distance from A is 1 meter, nature of movement, it is going in the clockwise direction towards A, so it is a positive. Next is 20 Newton force. Now perpendicular distance from A is equals to this 1 plus 1.5, that is 2.5. Again nature of movement, it is going in this clockwise direction like this towards point A, right? So positive. Next again 30 Newton, perpendicular distance from A is 1 plus 1.5 plus 2, that is 4.5. Again it is moving in clockwise direction towards point A. So solving this, finally we get 145 Newton meter, a positive value, that is in clockwise direction. Similarly we are considering movement about point B. So the force is now 25 going upward, perpendicular distance from B is 3.5. Now the nature of movement of the force 2.25 Newton is moving in upward, and towards point B it is going in clockwise direction, so positive. Next is 13. Now 13 Newton into perpendicular distance from B is 1 meter, and the nature of movement towards point B, it is going in this direction, that is nothing but anti-clockwise direction, so minus. Similarly 20 into perpendicular distance is 3 meter, moving in anti-clockwise direction. 10 into perpendicular distance is 4.5, then moving in anti-clockwise direction, so minus. So solving this, finally we get 47.5. We get the minus answer, that's why the nature of movement is nothing but the anti-clockwise in nature. In this way you have to determine the movement about point A and the movement about point B. Now similarly one more problem. Lever OA of length 600 making an angle of 60 degree with respect of positive x-axis. What will be the smallest force applied at point A to produce the moment of 150 Newton meter clockwise? So here one lever is given OA which is making an angle of 60 degree with the x-axis, then we have to determine what will be the smallest force applied at point A. Here at point A, force F is applied, and we have to find out the magnitude of this force F, the smallest force F, in such a way that it will causing a movement of 150 Newton meter in clockwise direction at point O. So to solve this, let's see, smallest force is there when the perpendicular distance is maximum. Therefore, F is considered perpendicular to OA. Okay, and hence if we consider the moment about point O, it is equals to the force F multiplied by the perpendicular distance 0.6 meter, and the nature of moment, it is going towards point A is like this. So nature of moment is positive, that is clockwise in direction, and the value, so F into 0.6, and the value of this moment about point O is given as 150 Newton meter clockwise. So here substituting 150 equals to 0.6 into F. Therefore finally F is equals to 250 Newton. So when the 250 Newton force is applied at point A, it will produce a moment of 150 Newton meter at point O. Now next problem, four forces acts tangentially to a 8 centimeter diameter circle. What is the magnitude of resultant? Here you can see a circle is there, and at the end of this circle four forces are acting tangentially. 100 Newton towards right, 100 Newton towards left, horizontal forces, then 200 Newton upward, 200 Newton downward, vertical tangential forces. To find out the resultant, we know resultant R is equals to under root of summation of fx square plus summation of fy square. So let's find out summation of fx equals to summation of all horizontal forces. So 100 towards right minus 100 towards left, which is equals to 0. Then summation of fy equals to 200 in upward direction, 200 in downward direction. So 200 minus 200 as a 0, and therefore resultant is equals to 0. Next problem, four sides of a rectangle ABCD represents the four forces. AB is 5 Newton, BC is 10, CD is 15, DA is 20. Determine the magnitude of resultant. So here one rectangle is there, ABCD. So along AB 5 Newton, BC 10 Newton, CD 15 Newton, and DA 20 Newton. All these forces are applied in order. You find out the magnitude and resultant. So again, resultant is equals to under root of summation of fx square plus summation of fy square. So summation of fx equals to 5 Newton towards right, positive, then 15 Newton towards left, negative, minus 15. So summation of fx is minus 10. Then summation of fy 10 Newton in downward direction minus 20 Newton in upward direction plus, so which is equals to 10. So substituting the value, resultant is 14.14 Newton, and theta is equals to 45 degree. So in this way we can determine the resultant as well as the movement in case of non-concurrent type of force system. Thank you.